I just want to say welcome to everyone. This is probably the most vital aspect of the Soul Summit Scottsdale is the community that we build, where we come together and we build friendships over years and years and years. I know that many of you have been communing after these conferences longer than I have, and I'm just blessed to be among you, and I'm really looking forward to continuing this relationship on and having a space to be and a place to ask questions and a safe space to land with all of you. That's what I love the most about these conferences. This is a 2.0 Afterlife conference. It has more to do with what we know the dead have taught us about living and applying those pieces. It's not as much about seances or anything like that as it was last year. We just took it on to we just moved it along so that we could talk about, how do we apply what we know from our loved ones who have passed. Let's live our best lives ever based on that information. And so that's what we're doing.
I'd like to just say how much we have appreciated the community that has developed out of the conferences. These Zoom groups that we're talking about started as a result of people saying, we'd love to have a way of keeping together after the symposium, as it was in those days, is finished. And Karen and I said, well, let's do something online. Let's do something with Zoom. And we've been meeting ever since. We've made some wonderful friendships with people. We've maintained the friendships. And what we're going to do in this video is get some of our group leaders to talk about what they have been doing and the kinds of things that are possible. But we want you to know that this is open to everybody. Anybody who'd like to start a group, anybody who'd like to teach, anybody who'd like to come on as a guest. We have things happening pretty much every week.
I help to run a Zoom group with my partner in crime over there, William Murray. And so we just launched our own group, which we call Love After Life. And it's called that because William had written a book, a very beautiful book about how he overcame his grief when his wife Irene passed to the other side. And so now to date, that was about 1.5 years ago that we got this group together. And we have, I think, about 400 people, William. Yeah, I think maybe 399. And then we have a weekly Zoom group where we meet with people for about an hour or two every week. We haven't missed a week in all that time. And we've met wonderful people and many people who want to continue to have a relationship with their partner, whether it's a spouse or, we don't really care. The only thing William and I said was that we wanted to limit the focus to what we knew best, which was to have a romantic partner pass.
I never expected the group to get anywhere near this. I expected to get 5 or 10 people would, be considering wanting to continue their relationship. And now we have 400 people. And they're the greatest people I've ever met. I consider them all my family now. Very helpful, very encouraging, and one of the most amazing things that I've seen is how these people are very much affected by just having somebody to talk to. Thank you.
So my group was and will be, when I restart it, for animals in the afterlife, grieving pet loss, even like anticipatory pet loss, talking about just really what's going on in relation to any of your animals. I have found that a particularly unique grief, and it's really one where people don't always have the support of friends and family when they're going through it. And I've been healing for not only for ourselves, but for our animals, and working together as this team, when they are sick or they are terminal. I do a lot of work with palliative and hospice care with animals. So I throw in discussion about that, connecting to our animals in the afterlife, healing and working through grief, afterlife, communication and signs, all of that will be part of my upcoming group.
I'll talk about the Mediumship Group. We've been running twice a month. We have a Mediumship Group. I have to say that it is all types of different levels of people. So I can work with beginners and with people who are a little more advanced, because I will customize things for you. We do a lot of work with trying to sit in the power and build up our own energy so that we can blend with the spirit. We work with trying to blend and get messages from the other side, not just messages from our loved ones, but messages from our guides and the spirit world in general. And I try to encourage people to give messages to other people. And when nobody will give a message, I'll give one. So it tends to be a fun hour when we get together, and I welcome anybody to join us.
And the spirit art?
Spirit art. Now, with the spirit art, I brought visual aids, because how can you talk about spirit art without showing some pictures? So we do all kinds of things in the spirit art. Next class, which unfortunately won't be until September 24th, because the second week of September, I'll be out of town at a memorial service. So the next class, we're going to be working on spirit guides. So we're going to do a meditation, and then I'm going to try to get people to visualize their guides or helpers, and then try to draw them. And we always get spiritual messages with the images. So it's a lot of fun. And we also we can do portraits. We can do a lot of different things. My only hindrance is that, I'm not always sure what materials people are going to have. So we are limited a little bit that way. But everybody usually has some colored crayons or pencils or something, and we go from there.
For the past 50-some years, have been a handwriting analyst, and so the subject of automatic writing has fascinated me. And when you talked about starting groups, I mentioned my interest in that, and somehow I became the leader of an automatic writing and mediumship group. And I expanded it to end mediumship because we don't always talk about automatic writing very much. It's not a class, it's a discussion group. So we usually have, I have over 65 people on my mailing list, but we usually have about 12 people, sometimes more if we have a guest. And up until, we started about a little more than a year and a half ago. We meet on the first and third Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. And anybody's welcome to come. You can email me for a link, or we actually use the link, that Wendy's link. So it's published in the weekly newsletter. And lately we have been trying out different short meditations, like 10, 12-minute meditations, in which we'll try to all do a group automatic writing. And we've had varying degrees of success, but I think we all enjoy it. And sometimes it gets to be a bit like group therapy. We talk about what we've been doing, what experiences we've had. We share resources. And for anybody who joins our group, or even if you can't come to the group and you want information, I've compiled a spreadsheet of a lot of the resources, books and videos and things that we have discussed. So I'm happy to share that with anyone.
Sherry and I are teaching some classes in EVP. We very, very basic beginner classes for people who want to learn how to do EVP. And we teach them not only how to set themselves up and how to have their computers working for them correctly, but also avoiding some of the problems that we've encountered in the past. And we move them right forward until they actually can record an EVP for themselves and are able to clip that EVP with the appropriately, so that it is accepted as a standard EVP. Sherry, you might like to expand a little bit on that, since it's your program that we've been teaching.
Hi everybody, by the way. As I've been telling Karen, it's really her baby, because although I did make the EVP slideshow, she knows my slideshow much better than I do. I'm so busy researching EVP and doing readings for people. And now I'm all into the bringing through the trans images that I don't know the technical ends as well as Karen. And she asked me to join her for another group, but Karen has got more people configured to record EVPs using my slideshow than I have. So I'm really there to back her up. But I would let people know that, Karen is running very small groups. And what we're going to do is walk people through the step-by-step program that I actually paid my computer tech guy to help me to make, because I could not have made it on my own. And it has a split screen. So one half is the instructions for Macs and the other half is the instruction for PCs. And we're going to go along with people, and it will say, download this. All the software that we have chosen to configure the computers are free. So people don't have to lay out a lot of money to get their computers configured. We are going to run these Zoom groups because even the best of us sometimes have a little bit of trouble following these instructions, but we've made them very user-friendly, and anyone who's got a little bit of technical background or just isn't afraid to try pushing buttons could probably follow the slideshow and get started just by going to my website.
Great, thank you, Sherry.
Sure, of course.
One of the things that we are hoping to do is that through the training programs, we'll be able to then move people into the EVP group, which is being run by Eloy. So I guess this is probably a good time for Eloy to jump in and tell us about what he is doing with his EVP group.
Sure. I first learned about EVP back in 2016 just prior to watching Sherry's presentation at the conference in 2016. I was in that conference and I was very impressed with her presentation. And I picked up a lot of information that I had started working on already. And from there, I continued doing everything Karen and Sherry are doing now. And started to communicate with my wife, who had just died in 2016, and I have been communicating with her every week since then. I'm really looking forward to expanding the group, so I'm very happy that Sherry and Karen have this group.
For me, what was really great about the global gatherings is that we get these great people who are very innovative in doing new types of work and thinking about the afterlife. And this group does bring together people who may not have access to individuals who share these ideas with them. So it's very, very important. But most of all, the fact that we volunteer and do it for free really shows that, as Sherry said, our hearts are into it. And we're very serious about this research and about this area of study and trying to educate people about understanding the afterlife. And I think maybe the education aspect is one of the most critical things that's important about our global gatherings.
And for me, I find that the people who come are serious at what they do. Sheila, Susan, Karen, all of us, Eloy, our hearts are in this. We do it because we love it. And because we love it and we're so dedicated to it, just by talking about what we do, someone else listening gets a whole new avenue of knowledge. So I just always tell you this, Wendy, how grateful I am to you and Karen for these groups, because A, they're free, which means they're available to everybody. No one has to travel and have the expense, and there's so much information. I love this group so much, and I'm so grateful to you. So thank you.
I find that meeting with this group is a great validation for what I've learned about the spirit world. And of course, I've learned so much of what I know about it from this group. And it's a great support system. We all have times when we cycle and we're not in a place that's as good as we would like it to be. And we come here and we hear these things from all of these friends, and it just reinvigorates the feelings and the beliefs. So I really appreciate it.
Well, I attended the summit last year, and it was wonderful. It just opened up so much for me. Not only the presenters, but the people that I met there. I just introduced myself to so many people, and I've continued relationships with them. It was wonderful. But I am a medium, and I get so much support. I love the spirit art class. I've learned so much giving readings. If I can't get something, I will ask Spirit to help me draw it, and it has made a big difference. She's also supported me in problems that I'm having in my mediumship work and making suggestions. Also, the automatic writing. A lot of my mediumship is automatic writing, so I've gotten a lot of support that way. And just everybody is nice, and it's a safe, trusting place where you can say and do anything, ask any question, and it's not too silly or too out of bounds to ask, because we're all in this together.
Most important thing for me, especially in our, you know, I hate to give it a name, our very chaotic world, and me still, you know, grieving the loss of my dad from the holidays, whom I had in my home for the last 5 years for caregiving, is having, you know, you talk about just being normal people, and I think that you're far more than that, because you give your hearts and your souls, and you're here. And as I said when I first got on, just having a safe place to land, a safe place to ask questions, and developing these relationships over a period of time makes this a home. And that may be overused, a home and a family, but you know, we can't always choose our family, but I would imagine that anyone who jumps onto this will choose this as their family, because you make it so safe and so sweet to be here. And so all of you, your care shows. I mean, I can see it. It emanates from you. And so that's what I appreciate about this community. I'm just grateful for this opportunity and for this space. Thank you.